Hi, I'm Quinn, and this is Open Awareness Yoga. Today we are working on connecting with ourselves, okay? You need some props for this, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what I mean connecting with ourselves and how that relates to yoga and ways that aren't just the obvious ones. But first, grab your props, so some sort of a strap so you can reach your feet, a towel, a bath towel, or a firm blanket. And we'll start by sitting on top of that. And either one or two yoga blocks or two hardback books that you can use. You might want a few more nearby because at some point we'll be building the floor up to place our head on, but we'll get there later and you'll see what you want to do. So first you'll just either sit on top of your stack of books or on top of your folded towel or blanket so that you feel comfortable on the floor. If you're not comfortable yet, you might make your stack of stuff even higher, maybe both of the books with the blanket on top, or you can come to sit on a chair. Now we'll be here for just a little bit. We're starting with just a minute of meditation and then some neck rolls and self-massage before we head down to the floor. So yeah, once you find yourself seated, close your eyes. And then feel for the parts of your body that are in contact with the earth. And if for whatever reason sitting doesn't feel good to you right now, you can lay right down on the floor. Let your breath be natural as it rises and falls. And soften your shoulders. Let your low jaw hang from your upper jaw as you soften deep inside the jaw joint. Relax around your eyes. And as your forehead relaxes, the eyebrows melt down the face. And then feel your belly. It's supporting you here if you're seated upright, but it needn't be too tense. So can you find that Goldilocks engagement? You might notice that you feel your breath move in your belly, but you needn't force anything today. And so as we use this practice to connect with ourselves, kind of the first obvious thing that we're connecting with is our bodies. And sometimes we can get so caught up in our thoughts that we begin to disassociate the brain from the body that it's a part of. And our mind is not just in our head, but it's our entire system of internal wisdom. You don't know you're hungry because your brain decides on its own. You know you're hungry because the brain feels the hunger in the body. But so many of us are disconnected from the body for so many reasons. That's why embodied practices like yoga and other practices really help us connect back in not only to our bodies, but our truth. You know, what feels right and what feels wrong for you, not because of external rules or guidelines, but because of your gut feelings. If you're uncomfortable seated, if your body's telling you to change positions, then do what you need to. And if you're laying down, you might like to come up to seated for this next thing. We'll start with some gentle neck exercises. So drop your right ear over to the right shoulder. And keeping the right ear falling down, you might shake your head no by moving the chin an inch up and an inch down. So you're shaking your head no, but the head's in a different plane than it's normally in. This should feel good, so modify it or change it up in any way that feels natural to you. Let's see if you can release the tension in the left side jaw and breathe. Now slowly you'll roll the chin down to the chest and continue rolling your head all the way over so that your left ear is dropping down towards your left shoulder. And again, if you liked it on the other side, you might lift the chin up an inch, tuck it in towards your armpit an inch, and just shaking the head no, even as the head is tilted over to the side. Melt that right jaw. And if you find a place that you like or that feels extra, just take note of that. And let's drop the chin back into the chest and now take semicircles with the head. So you'll just roll the head to the right, pause, then roll it back down through center and over to the left. So we're not dropping the head back yet. And you might even let your shoulders move a little bit with this movement. You don't have to restrict your movement in any way. And when and if you're ready, take full circles with your head, letting the head drop all the way back. Maybe taking two in one direction. Organically moving through your entire body as it works for you. And when you're ready, when you find a stopping point, change direction. And continue to breathe all the while. The next time your head comes back down to center, pause, and then lift it up. And take your right hand over to the left side of the neck, and just gently give yourself a little massage down from behind the ear, down any tight muscles, and then grab onto this upper trapezius area. Many people feel tight here. You can drop your head a little over to the left, really soften that left shoulder, and then take a big grab, a handful of the upper trap, and squeeze it up until your fingers come off. Okay, just a few times, just like someone else would be giving you a massage. And then squeeze your arm down to the cap of the shoulder. These are the deltoids. And maybe if you'd like, down the arm. And place both of your hands back in your lap. And we'll do the second side. So from right behind the ear, just gently give your neck a little pressure, a little self-massage. You can drop your head over towards the right, soften the right shoulder, and squeeze and pinch that right upper trap, wherever you feel you need it. Sometimes it's like the easiest things, giving ourselves a little massage. We forget that it's a tool in our toolbox. And then squeeze down the arm, paying some attention to the cap of the shoulder. And place both of your hands back in your lap. And last thing here, we'll turn the head to the right and turn the head to the left. Come back to center, and you'll come to lying down on your back. Okay, so if you're more comfortable with your knees bent and your feet on the floor, that's an option. You can also come into Shavasana with your legs straight. And if it feels like the front of your throat is stretching open and the back of your throat is crunched, then take your blanket or one of your books and place it underneath your head so that the front of your throat feels soft. You can even put your hands on the front of your throat, just very gently, like placing your hand down, not pushing. Notice if you can find a place where the front throat feels soft. And then when you're ready, both arms come alongside the body, palms face up. So here again, tune into your breathing, in and out. And I'll bring you on a rotation of consciousness through your physical body. So there's nothing you need to do here, although if you'd like to move or contract the area of the body that I say, you're welcome to do that. But really just let my voice be your voice as you shift your consciousness from point to point along your entire body. So make sure you're comfortable. We'll be here for a few minutes. And we'll begin. Bring your awareness to your right hand thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, pinky finger. Palm of your right hand back of your hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, right shoulder, armpit, side ribs, waist, hip, right thigh, knee, shin, calf, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. Left hand thumb, second finger, third, fourth, and fifth. Palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, left forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, side ribs, left waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf, left ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. Back of the head, crown of the head, whole forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, eyebrow center, right eyelid, left eyelid, right eye, left eye, tip of the nose, whole nose, right side cheek, left side cheek, right side jaw, left side jaw, right inner ear, left inner ear, right outer ear, left outer ear, upper lip, lower lip, space between the lips, tongue, throat, right side chest, left side chest, heart center, upper abdomen, navel center, lower abdomen, right side groin, left side groin, back of the head, right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, whole spine, right buttock, left buttock, the whole right leg, the whole left leg, the whole right arm, the whole left arm, both legs together, both arms together, the whole body together, the whole body together, the whole body together. And just notice the sensations and feelings in your body. Maybe there were some areas that were easier to pay attention to than others. And one way we can make what is unconscious within us conscious is by controlling the breath. Because whether we're thinking about it or not, as long as we're alive, we're always breathing. So begin to pay closer attention to your inhales and exhales. And as we did in the Yoga for Intense Emotions class, we'll work with a certain breath throughout practice. And we will start moving soon. So bring your awareness, and if you'd like, your hands beneath your navel, between your navel and your pubic bone, and your awareness at the very center line of your body. And now imagine as you breathe in, the air radiates from this center out to your fingertips and toe tips, to the top of your spine, and to the base of your spine. And as you breathe out, everything from the periphery comes back to this center. So on inhale, you radiate out, and on exhale, it all comes back in. Traveling out and down your legs, Exhaling back into center. Inhaling out and down the arms. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling out and down to the tailbone. Exhaling back to center. Inhaling out and up to the crown of the head. Exhaling back to center. And now a few rounds where you're sending the breath out to legs, arms, and up and down the spine, and drawing it back into center. So we're touching every part of our body with our mind as we breathe, and we'll do this in each pose. If you aren't already, slowly work yourself into bent knees with the feet on the floor. Make sure that you feel comfortable. You might need to pick up your hips and set them back down. And here we'll take some arch and curls. So as you exhale, press your low back down to the earth. Your tailbone lifts. And as you inhale, arch by dropping your tailbone down towards the floor and rocking your hips forward. It's not a very big movement. Make it your own, traveling with your breath as your breath moves in and out. And once you have a hang of the movement, then think about sending the inhale breath to the periphery and gathering the exhale breath back at center. The prana or life force travels on the breath. And with our conscious intention, we're able to direct that prana in our body. It's what energizes us. Okay. When you're ready, the next time you flatten your back, pull your right knee into your chest and hold on to the knee. Now, as you inhale and arch, bring the knee away from the chest, straighten the arms. And as you exhale and flatten, pull the knee in towards the chest. Try to smooth this out and use your breath to help you do that. Notice if any other area of your body feels locked. Maybe you can let your head fall a little heavier back and let everything sort of move with this movement. And when you're ready, you'll place the right foot down and pull the left knee into the chest. And same thing. Inhale to arch, knee moves away from you, elbows straighten. Exhale, you flatten the back and pull the knee in towards the chest. Moving with your breath. You may notice that there's a difference between the quality of this movement on the right and left sides. What we're doing right now is somatics. Place your left foot down. Bring your hands underneath your head. Interlace the fingers, and then pull the elbows up towards the ceiling. If there was a blanket underneath your head, move it out. And cradle the head in the arms. Now as you inhale, arch your back. This time as you exhale, flatten the back and curl your head and shoulders up. Slowly release everything down. Knuckles hit the ground and the back arches, if that's comfortable. Again, an exhale breath, you flatten the back and roll up. Slowly release everything back down and let the back arch. Last time, flatten and roll. Slowly back down and arch. And this time we change it. Flatten. And as you roll your head and shoulders up, pull your right knee in towards the chest. The head and shoulders travel straight up. Slowly release everything down. Right foot flat on the floor. And we stay with that leg. Exhale, flatten the low back. Right knee comes into the chest, rolling up straight up the spine. Slowly release everything down and arch. Exhale, flatten and curl. And slowly everything comes back down, arch. We change sides. Exhale, flatten left knee into the chest, curl it up. Slowly release. Let your back arch. Exhale, flatten, curl it up. Head is heavy in the hands, so you're not straining the neck. And we do 3 total. And you lower everything back down. Keep your hands where they are and send both of your legs up towards the sky. You might choose to be straight at the knee or bend the knee 90 degrees. Now exhale, curl the low back down and lift your head and shoulders up. Keep your legs right where they are. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly twist your torso over to the right. Inhale back to center. Try to stay above your shoulder blades. Exhale over to the left. Inhale back to center. If you have any neck or head pain, rest and join us again. Otherwise, you're going right and center and left and center. And for this last round, think about the breath radiation. As you exhale and twist, everything gathers at the core. As you inhale, you radiate out to your periphery. Knees come into chest, lower your head and shoulders down, 1 foot at a time on the floor, and then stretch your body long. Arms straight, legs straight, stretch across your abdomen. Okay, so bend your knees, and let's roll over onto one side and come up onto hands and knees. Now, if you need some support underneath your knees, place your towel or a blanket underneath them. And we'll be here in tabletop on hands and knees. So spread your fingers wide underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And if you have any wrist pain, you can make fists with your hands and place the knuckles down on the ground. Okay, and that's all right too. All right, from here, let's take one upper back cow pose. So draw the shoulder blades down your back and lift the top of your sternum up towards the sky to find a back bend feeling in the upper back. And then shake the head no, and don't crunch the back of the neck. So sometimes we lift the chin up as high as we can go, but that's not really doing us any favors in the neck. So instead, we're lifting the sternum, and the neck should feel comfortable. Your gaze might still be down at the ground. All right, now bring the back to neutral. Send the right leg back behind you, toes curled under. Think about drawing the top of the sternum forward without taking too much of a back bend. And now squeeze your right buttock and lift your right heel to hip height. The knees turning down towards the ground. Breathe in and radiate out to the periphery. Breathe out and draw everything back into the core. One more breath in, holding this pose. One more breath out. And now we pull the right knee into the chest, but don't tuck your chin, okay? Take that upper back bend and look forward. Pull the knee up as high up into the chest as you can get it. Up, 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 up. We're working through our psoas here, contracting the hip flexor muscle. So we're looking forward, but not crunching the neck. Oh, and now release that right knee back underneath the right hip and step the left leg forward between the hands. Now here, if you would like to use some books underneath your hands, you can grab them. And we're just stretching through that back right thigh, opening through the same muscles that we just engaged. And we engaged them pretty forcibly. You noticed probably a big difference between the gentleness of the somatics and then this contraction and engagement of the right knee to the chest. Different ways of moving and being in your body for different purposes. Soften your shoulders. Lift your front hip points up towards the low ribs. Take one more breath and radiate it out. As you exhale, gather everything back to center. And now plant the hands or make fists and come back into your tabletop, hands and knees. Now left toes go back behind you. Draw your top sternum forward. Squeeze the left buttocks and lift the left heel to hip height. Knee points right down towards the ground. And take those radiating breaths, inhaling, sending the air out to the tips of your fingers and toes, exhaling back to center. Next time you try it, send the air up through the spine and down through the spine. And exhale, bring it back to center. Now draw the sternum even further forward and draw your left knee into the chest. You can flex the foot here. Pull it up as high as you can. Continue to breathe. Keep drawing the chest forward. Release the back of your neck. And now step the left knee back underneath the left hip and the right foot forward between the hands. If you're on your fingertips, just press them into the floor. Roll your shoulders back and down and breathe. So I know you're not actually sending the air to the periphery of your body, but the air oxygenates the blood, which is sent to the periphery of your body and back to the heart. So there's the physiological aspect. There's the muscles and the bones and the fascia, the nervous system, the endocrine system. There's also the energetic aspect, the prana, and they're all related and tied together. So one more radiating breath here. Exhaling everything back to that navel center. And then plant your hands, step back into your tabletop. Let's curl the toes under and lift the hips high into a downward facing dog. Bend into your right knee, let the right hip drop. Switch sides, bend into your left knee, left hip drops. And then at your own pace, whatever feels good, bend and straighten the knees. And find some stillness. Look between your hands and walk your feet forward to the hands. Feet a little wider than hips with distance apart, and bend your knees as much as you need to for comfort. If your fingertips don't reach the floor, then grab your books or your blocks and place them in your hands so that you've got your fingers down on something, okay? So here, turn back into that radiating breath. Taking a few rounds. And remember, you have 2 legs, 2 arms, and traveling up and traveling down your spine. Okay, so now hands either firmly on your books or on your outer shins. As you inhale, come up halfway. So bring your spine long as if you were in a tabletop again, parallel with the earth. And again, find your radiating breath here in Arda Uttanasana in a half fold. And just notice if that breathing helps change your experience of this shape or your engagement in your practice. And different things are challenging for different folks, so stick with it. Now on an exhale breath, as you gather to center, you'll also fold back down. And slowly inhale out to the periphery as you roll all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back and down and make sure you're standing at the top of your mat so you have space behind you. All right, inhale and send the energy out, all 6 limbs. Raise your arms and look up. As you exhale, gather back at center and fold right over the hips. Use your blocks if you need them or your outer shins. As you inhale, lift up halfway, Arda Uttanasana. Stick with that breath. As you exhale, find your way into plank pose, the high part of a push-up. Maybe you choose to bring your knees down. Inhale, send the breath out, hold the plank. As you exhale, gather back at center and lower all the way down to the earth. Point back through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your heart, cobra pose. Exhale, find downward facing dog and your awareness gather back at center. Inhale into your downward dog, send it out. Exhale, stay, gathering at center. Again, inhale. Exhale, gather it at center and let that pull your feet forward into a forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, send it out and come all the way up to standing, arms overhead, floating on that energy. Exhale, release your hands down by the side of the body. Again, inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold over your center. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, gather at center and step into plank. Knees up or down. Keep breathing into your plank. And an exhale breath is what brings you all the way down to the ground. Inhale for cobra pose. Lift your heart, shoulders down the back. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high. You can rest in a child's pose here, or you can hold your downward dog. Find 3 more rounds of your radiating breath. It's all about connecting with yourself. And I'm talking the whole body, connecting through the breath. And when you're ready, you'll exhale, walk the feet forward to the hands, fold down. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale, fold down. And inhale all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, release your hands. And so take a quarter turn to the right. Step your feet apart wide and bring your hands to your hips to start. We'll take a warrior 2. Turn your left toes slightly in and your entire right leg out. So you feel a rotation from the hip socket. Bend into the right knee and then bring your arms out to shoulder height. Turn to gaze over your right fingertips. Now we'll hold this for a while, and if you prefer, with your breath, you can straighten and bend the knee. But find that radiating breath in this pose and let it change the way you're holding the shape so that your body is dynamic in the shape, so that you're not rigid even though you're stable. 1 more round of breath. Let's straighten the right leg, then turn all 10 toes forward. Angle the right toes in and turn the entire left leg out. Bend into your left knee and turn to look over your left fingertips. Anytime you need a break during practice, take a break. We'll do some balancing poses in a moment. Work with what feels right for your body and your energy level today. And if you aren't already, take a breath where you inhale the energy out to your edges and exhale to gather it back into your center. Now we'll straighten through that left leg, turn all 10 toes forward and release the hands to the hips. We'll go back to the first side. So turn the left toes in, angle the entire right leg out, bend into your right knee, and inhale, bring the arms out to a T. Moving into extended side angle, Utthita Parshva Konasana. On an inhale breath, reach the right fingertips forward. And as you exhale, place the right forearm on the thigh. Swing the left arm overhead and find that breath here. It's nice because there's this long line between left foot and left arm. So as you radiate the breath, can you connect deeper into that length in your body? Now left arm straight up to the sky. Inhale, come up to standing, and we'll change sides. Right toes angle in, left leg turns out, bend into the left knee. Inhale, reach the left fingertips forward and then left elbow to thigh. Swing the right arm overhead and find that breath. Stay light in the left arm. Soften your shoulders. Bring the right arm up to the sky. Inhale, back to standing. And now turn all 10 toes forward and find either one of your blocks or one of your books. Hold it in the right hand, left hand on the hip. Turn the left toes in, angle the right leg out, bend into the right knee, and then reach this right hand far forward on the floor. So you're placing the book on the floor. Step your left leg in, and now really press down into the book. Make sure you can trust it. The right knee is over the center of the right foot. Knee stays bent. Squeeze the left outer hip as you lift the left leg to hip height. The inner thigh is facing down towards the ground. And if you like, you might straighten the right leg. Breathe, find that breath. It's okay if you fall out, and we're working on balance. If you're on top of carpet, it makes it even harder to balance. And you might try this with your back against your bed or couch or the wall. If you're doing okay here, you might lift the left arm up into the sky. And remember that breath. This is Arda Chandrasana, half moon pose. And I know we've been here a long time. Bring the left hand back to the hip, bend your right knee, and place the left leg back far behind you. Then come back up through a warrior two, then straighten your right knee and turn all 10 toes forward. Switch hands. Now, if at that side you thought, I need a little extra help balancing, then find something behind you. Anything could help, just make sure that it's sturdy. Then we'll turn the left leg out and angle the right toes in. Bend into the left knee, reach that left hand far in front of you and plant the book or block down on the floor. Bump your right leg in about halfway. Keep this left knee lined up over the center of the left foot, and when you're ready, you squeeze into the outer right hip to lift the right leg to hip height. The inner thigh is what's facing down towards the ground. Your foot is flexed, so pull the toes back towards the face and reach out with your heel. Make sure this entire right leg is firm, and breathe. So send that breath through the body and notice which parts of the body are engaged, which parts of the body are involved in this, and are any taking the day off? And if they're taking the day off, send them a little extra energy. Now, if you'd like, you might bring that right arm up to the sky. Inhaling out all 6 limbs. Exhaling back to your center. One more breath in. And as you exhale, right hand to the hip, bend your left knee, right leg steps far back behind you. Come up first into warrior two, then straighten the left leg, and all 10 toes come forward. All right, now our next shape will head into, you might want both of your books in front of you. They'll be optional, so take both of your blocks or both of your books and put them at the right side of the mat, one on each side. Now, sit in the center of your mat, step your right foot forward and your left leg back, and then come up onto your left toes so the heel is in the sky. Bend into your right knee and bring the arms overhead. So we're in a crescent pose, working on balance. As you're in this shape, find that breath. And see if you can lengthen that left leg long, stretching across the top of the hip, releasing the muscles on the top of the left hip as you squeeze the left buttocks. Now you can stay here in this crescent lunge or head into a warrior one. So I'll give you some options. First step is hinge forward at the hips, reaching the arms forward. Bump the right foot in, and then squeeze through the left buttocks to lift the left leg up to hip height. Now this is where you might want to grab your books, place the books underneath your shoulders on the floor, and use that as extra support. Firm the left leg, and find that breath. Use the breath. This is a challenging pose, so take a break as you need it. All right, and we'll slowly bend the right knee and place the left foot by the right foot. Drop your books on the floor and come up to standing for the second side. Now step your right leg back long, hands on the hips, come up onto your right toes, then bend into the left knee. Breathe in and lift your arms overhead and find your breath here. Feel a lengthening across the top of the right thigh. Squeeze into the right buttocks. And you can stay here or head into any version of the warrior three balance. So you can hinge right at the hips, reaching the arms forward. Bump the right foot in about halfway, then squeeze into the right buttocks to lift the right heel to hip height. Option to use your books on the floor. Whatever you need to do so that you can find that breath moving through your body. The breath is the most important part. All right, bend into your left knee, place your right foot next to the left and come up to standing. Ah, nice. Now we'll head down to the floor for some floor stretches. All right. So let me think. What do we want to do first? Let's go ahead and find either both of your books or your blanket to sit on top of. Lies. Now I remember what was next. We're doing a supported inversion. So you will need all your props. You'll take your books about the center of your mat and then your blanket, fold it up, and place it on top of your books. Now this is sort of high, mine. You might need more height underneath you, and I'll show you why. You'll come into a tabletop, hands and knees, with the prop set up right underneath your low sternum. Then press up into downward facing dog and bring your head down to your props. Okay, this is one option. Another option is a child's pose. It was important for me to get you guys upside down today. And even child's pose, your head is down on the ground and grounded. So find the right amount of height underneath your head so that if you're in down dog, the head is resting, but so that the neck doesn't feel compromised or compressed. So especially if you have any neck stuff, you want to be very careful that you don't have too much height underneath your head. And once you get yourself set up in either your downward facing dog or your child's pose, find that radiating breath. Now with the top of your head or your forehead in contact with the earth, perhaps it's a bit easier to feel the inhale travel up the spine to the crown of the head and back down. And if you're in down dog, find your way to child's pose. And breathe. Now go ahead and sit up. And now we'll come into a supported back bend. So you'll take your towel, open it up so that it's at least as wide as your chest. And from one of the corners, you'll roll it, then place it across your mat, okay? You'll come down to lie over this blanket roll so that it's underneath your shoulder blades, more towards the kind of middle of your upper back. I'm going to rest your head and your arms on the upper side of the blanket roll. And the arms will be either out to a T or bent 90 degrees at the elbow for goalpost arms. My head is relaxing back. And here you might leave your knees bent. You might straighten your legs long. Or if you'd like, you could take a butterfly by bringing the soles of the feet together and letting your knees fall open. And connect back in with that breath. Touching every part of your body systematically with your consciousness as you breathe. All right, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, and then roll over onto one side and press yourself up off of your blanket roll. And if you like to sit on top of the blanket for comfort on the floor, you'll place it underneath you. And here now we're back where I'd skipped ahead. We'll start in Baddha Konasana. So bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open wide. Walk your sitting bones back behind you, so it's like you're sort of stepping backwards with each buttock, and then come to a straight spine. shoulders over the hips. This can be quite difficult for some. You can place your fingertips behind you and press your arms down into the floor to help you sit up straight, and find at least one of those radiating breaths before you choose to do any folding forward. And if you do choose to fold into this shape, then do so on an inhale as you send the breath down towards the tail. Let that guide your chest forward. And let your breath guide your movement into this shape. So don't force anything and try not to be artificial in a way. What would happen if the breath was what moved you? And use that centered breath to explore that. If you're folding, slowly sit back up. Bring your hands underneath your knees and your knees into your chest. Then keep your right foot on the ground and slide your left leg out long. Bring your right hand behind you and turn to look over your right shoulder. The left arm can hug your left knee, or if you're twisted into this shape quite deeply, you might be able to easily place your left elbow on the outer right thigh. And even in this twisting shape, find that radiating breath. And come back to center. Keep your legs as they are and find your strap. Here you'll bring your arms on the inside of your right leg and then loop the strap over your left foot. You might need to step that right leg out to the right or walk it down further towards your left ankle. You can be very deep in the hips here. Hold onto your strap in both hands and starting upright, inhale to lift your heart, and you can lift the right sitting bone up off the floor. Now find that radiating breath that you've been practicing and let the breath guide you. Does your body want to fold deeper into this right now? And if so, allow it to come naturally. And breathe. Slowly inhale back upright. Set the strap to the side and then lengthen your right leg long. Bend your left knee. Place the foot flat on the floor. Near the left fingertips behind you, twist to the left and either hug onto the right knee, or if it's easy, place the elbow on the outer knee and find that breath. Finish with the end of your exhale, and then come back to center. Find your strap, and you'll bring your arms on the inside of the left knee to loop the strap over your right foot. And we start upright. So make sure that you've got the correct orientation for your body today with the left leg, and you can lift that left hip, left buttocks off the floor. And finding your breath, inhaling out and exhaling to center. Let your body and breath guide you into the right expression of this shape for you in this moment. Gently inhale your way up and out. Lengthen your left leg long. And now we'll loop both feet in the strap. And we start upright by lifting the heart as we breathe in. And just keep the spine long as you tether yourself to your practice. And again, let your body guide you into your own depth and this shape. 2 more breaths here. And then slowly come up to seated. And we'll head down to Shabasana. And so I'll guide you again through a somatic meditation, a meditation inside the body, differently than the one we started with. But make yourself comfortable. This will be here for maybe 7 minutes. If you need a pillow underneath your head for the softness in the front throat, then find that. And if you're more comfortable with your knees bent, you can keep them that way, or lengthen the legs long. And tuck the shoulder blades underneath you and let your body find its perfect resting place on the floor. And you can let go of any breathing practices here. And just feel the backside of your body spreading into the earth. So that it's almost as if the cells of your skin, each individually spread. And then notice the feeling of the air on the skin. Notice the feeling of your clothes on your skin. If there are any areas that feel cooler or warmer than others, letting your awareness slide and glide with whatever you're experiencing physically. And starting from the feet, feel the soles of the feet, the skin between the toes. And then travel inside the skin, deeper than the skin, and notice the bones of your feet, and the muscles in your feet, all living, growing tissues. Even bone is living and growing. And let your awareness slip and glide through the ankle joint and into the calves. 2 bones in your lower legs and the thick calf muscles. Lots of smaller muscles too. Inhabiting your lower legs as you slide and glide up towards the knees. And now experience the feeling of the joint of your knees. And traveling now into your thighs, and the biggest bone in your body. Can you feel the weight of the bone and the life of your bone? And the big muscles of the quads and hamstrings, the inner thighs. And feel where your thigh bone enters the hip socket. And feel the bones of your hips and the strong muscles of the buttocks. And now come to your hands. Start from the skin of the hands and between the fingers. And then travel inside to the bones of the hands, the muscles of the hands. Sliding through the wrists and into the forearms. Similar to the shins, with 2 bones and muscles surrounding them. Slide and glide through your elbows into the upper arm bone and the biceps and tricep muscles. And feel where your upper arm bone enters the shoulder socket, connecting with your shoulder blades and collarbones. Now feel your head. Feel the skin of the head, some with hair, some building out the features of your face. And then travel inside, within the skull, where the eyeballs connect into the brain and the brain folds upon itself. The brain growing down towards the spinal cord. And the spinal cord situated in the vertebra of the spine. Experience the bones in your neck, and the muscles in the neck, and the throat, which connect down into your rib cage. And feel the entire rib cage, all of these bones, and the muscles between each rib. And now within the ribs, your lungs and your heart. Can you feel your heart beating? Connecting with yourself. The lungs inflate and deflate with air. Can you feel the lungs? Beneath the heart and the lungs is the muscle of the diaphragm, which splits in half the upper abdomen from the lower abdomen. And beneath the diaphragm is your stomach and liver, and the organs of digestion, the kidneys, and more. Can you feel the muscles surrounding the lower abdomen? And as they soften, the organs within your abdomen are able to slide and glide around each other as they're massaged with your breath. At the base of your abdomen, the organs of reproduction and elimination. Exploring in your awareness, gliding down to the pelvic floor. And this hammock of muscles that support you as your root. And then in the minute or so that remains, just let yourself center in that quiet silence of your body. Alive. And this is the silence that they speak of in meditation, that takes practice to find. And it's in this space we can connect more deeply to our own truth and heal ourselves and know what's next. So again, inhale and send your breath and that energy out through all 6 limbs. And when you connect with your fingers and your toes, begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Finding a little bit of movement and perhaps a new association with your own movement as you move through your wrists and your ankles. And then drop your head from side to side. And when you're ready, bring your arms overhead along the floor and bend your knees to place your feet on the floor. Then roll over onto one side and rest your head on your arm. Tucking your knees into your chest, into the fetal position. And stay here as long as you'd like. When you're ready, very slowly come up to seated, just as we began practice. And again, feel what pieces of your body are in contact with the earth. And you may choose to bring your palms to touch in front of your heart. And as you inhale, send that breath out. And as you exhale, gather to center and bow your chin to your chest. Here you may choose to honor yourself, your body, your practice, your effort. And I thank you for practicing with me. And in gratitude to the teachers before me, to South Asia and India, from where these practices came, that have been passed down to us for our well-being and connection to ourselves and to the greater good. May we all be in service to each other. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.